Information is power. Information is power. Information is power. Information is power.
All right, everybody. What's up, everybody? This is the Information Man Show. Welcome, everybody. I'm back in the house. I haven't been on my first channel in quite some time. I've been doing a lot of grinding, as you all know, on the second channel, the Information Man Speaks podcast channel on YouTube. I've been grinding over there late night doing up, and I got more content coming your way on that channel. Let me shout out a lot of people tonight because I got a great audience in my first channel as always, but I got some other new family members with me. Look, I'm multitasking tonight. I'm multicasting into various other platforms. Let's see. I'm on of course, YouTube tonight. I'm on Periscope, Twitter, and I'm also on HAPS, a new app that I'm using. Fantastic group of people over there. Now, there's a very professional crowd on that particular site. And so I'm broadcasting straight into HAPS as well as YouTube. I'm just on everything. Then I'm also broadcasting into my YouTube page that's on Facebook connected to the show. So I'm broadcasting all over the place. And I think it's fantastic. And I want to say shout out to everybody over at HAPS, Peter, all the folks that created that platform. Wonderful platform. I got to say, after going through a lot of the people that's on that platform, a lot of professional people. We got journalists on that platform. We got professional people that work in sports journalism, professors, psychologists. So it's a different flavor on that app because you have a lot of professionals who have come over there that use the app, the HAPS app, and they broadcast into multi areas within the streamosphere, the live streamosphere. And why I do that, I'm going to be giving a lot of love to the folks that follow me over in YouTube, and then people that's following me over there little by little, people that are following me on Periscope, people that are watching me probably live on Twitter, which is one and the same with Periscope. But let me go into something right here real quick, and let me hit the mute that so the sound doesn't, there's no back sound. And let me do something that's very important here. If I can, let me see, where am I at right here? Let's see, folks, give me 1 minute, as I thought I was going into my actual site, and now here I am trying to go into my site. And there we go. Now I got the commercials running on that, the monetized channel that I have here. But I got to say to everybody in the chat room, peace to you. So let's see. We've got Back to the Basics. We got Fashion for Life. We got Donna, Just Being Real. And Donna, sister, you're doing great stuff on your channel. I enjoyed the other night chatting with you over in the other with sister Catherine and friends. And I got to say, beautiful sister there, great hearted sister. And just a fantastic sister indeed. And we got Earl Owens, we got Patience in the house, good folks like that. And you know, I know it's late, so we'll see how many people we get over here tonight. I haven't cranked up this channel in quite a bit of time, so we'll see how it all works out, ladies and gentlemen, how many folks get over here in the hurry. And do me the biggest favor, you know, I always say this, share this out in your social media, all of your social media, this video. This is very important. This is going to be sort of this is a story that a lot of you know about, but it's going to be a story that's going to be a what has happened now type of story. What's going on now? What is significant about the situation? Because the family, as I said on there, a woman and a black woman and 4 black children, one of them being 6 years old. They were held at gunpoint by police in Aurora, Colorado. That happened, I think, a year ago. This is the same police department that took the life of Elijah McClain, a brother who was just walking down the street minding his own business. He had told them that he was an introvert. He tried to talk to the cops. They weren't listening to him, and they roughed him up. It was the same police department. So I want to tell you what is the follow-up, because a lot of times when these cases happen, we forget about the follow-up, meaning what happened to the family, to the kids. From what I'm hearing, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not really good at all, is that these kids have been psychologically scarred. They got PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, that they're not eating well, they're not sleeping well, they're stressed because of that experience of being handcuffed on the ground on their stomachs and then having guns drawn on them. So I'm going to give you the update because there's some changes to the laws in Colorado that I think I believe that other states need to adapt these policies. I'm going to go over, I've got the documents right here. I'm going to go over the policies. I want to get your opinion. So those of you in the chat room and YouTube, please give your comments, your thoughts about it when I go over it. Those of you that are in the chat room on HAPS, give your comments, your opinions. Those of you listening to me on Facebook, give your opinions and thoughts. Those of you listening to me on Periscope, give your opinions and your thoughts. I've got a video that I'll play for you. This won't be a 3 or 4 hour live stream. I'm gonna give you the material, let you bite on it, let you absorb it in your brains, and let you come away with your conclusions for yourself, whether you think that these are the right way to go with police departments. Now, I believe that when you have police in police departments that are ruthless, sometimes racist, I just don't think you can educate that out of them, because people are who they are when they are. Okay? But Colorado to me right now is the only state, along with their governor, who signed this into law. And I'm going to give you the name of the bill. Matter of fact, let me just give you the name of the bill right now. This is Bill 217. Senate Bill 217. This was in the Senate, the state Senate of Colorado, where they passed a bill to take away qualified immunity from the police in the state of Colorado. And a lot of this took place because of what happened to George Floyd. We got Deborah Catch by Faith coming on in. Peace and love to you, sister. We've got RY coming on in. We got NC Worker coming on in. Fantastic. RY says this, ladies and gentlemen: you can't educate fools nor the racism out of some people. I tend to agree with that because people tend to be what they are. However, you know, there has been cases of people who believed in certain things and they said, hey, I was believing the wrong type of stuff. You know, that some people it happens, but history has shown us that it doesn't happen enough, and it's not happening wholesale. Am I telling the truth?
Tell the truth.
It doesn't happen enough. That's why, and I said it last night when I was exclusively going live on HAPS with who did I have on? Oh, I had Brandy J on, who's a podcaster. You've heard from her before. I had her on last night. We were talking about schools. I podcast. Check out my latest podcast in all the podcasting platforms, not on the YouTube version, but on the regular podcast, and you can hear the conversation. Or you can just go on my Twitter feed and you can hear the conversation over there. We were talking about kids going back to school, how in order for them to go back to school, you got to put money into the schools, particularly I'm talking about public schools. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that kids are already going to private school, that private schools have been open because the private schools have the money and the resources to configure the school in a way to make it safe for the kids. The public schools are not getting money. So, and Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion budget, if I'm not mistaken, I hope that there's somewhere in there about schools. We talked about that last night, and it's something else. We've got God's chosen vessel in the house. Love this sister here. Thank you for coming on over. And we got Sandra Fisher, who's in the house. God chosen vessel is a wonderful lady, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you in the YouTube streets over here, check her channel out. If you are a spiritual person, a person who is Christian, you believe in God the Almighty, then she is someone you definitely want to go and check out her channel and give her the almighty support, because I'm telling you right now, you won't regret it. You will not regret it. Once again, as the ticker says right there, welcome to the Information Man Show. Like, subscribe. Matter of fact, let me put my my mechanisms up here, because I do want people to definitely support the channel, and definitely want you to subscribe. Now, hopefully this is working just fine. Yes, there it is. Pow, pow, pow. Subscribe to the channel. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, folks. Come on now and check it out, because what I'm doing over here, I'm telling you, what we're doing over here on the Information Man Show is we're waking up minds, we're blowing minds, and we're making you think and say to yourself, wow, what's going on in this world? You see, I've got to figure it out. This brother's got to figure it out here on the screen. And I'm trying to figure it out too, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go over here. I got to do, folks, you're going to see me doing a lot of multitasking. I've got my stream going through a lot of different platforms. So I got to flip over here and see, you know, what's going on in other necks of the woods and things of that nature. Everybody out there in HAPS, thank you for checking me out. And hopefully anybody that comes into the chat will be able to write down what your thoughts are. So right now we've got people coming in over on the other side. And then I've got my lovely YouTube crowd as well. and this is incredible. Let me do something else here. I got so many things I got to multitask. It's almost like I wish I had a faculty, but I'm a one-man show. We're all doing our best here. So let me go into here and just give me a minute, folks. I'm going to get right to it. Believe me, I'm going to get right to it. Let me refresh something and let me go right into this right now. Give me just a moment to refresh this and go right into this, and boom. So now, boom, that's going to give me, but I'm a one-man show. Boom, I had to cut that off, folks. And everything looks okay over there. So now I've got that going on over there, and I got the good people over here in YouTube. So let me show you the video of this right now to give you a refresher of what happened to this family just a year ago. And then what I'm going to do, as I said before, I'm going to go down a list of their changes in their laws in Colorado. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to go into media. Okay. And we're going to get this set up just like so. And you know me, folks, over here, I got the special effects, and I'm going to get you ready and prompt. And here we go.
Information is power.
Let me just say this, folks. I get no pleasure at hearing these kids scream for their life, wondering what is going on. There were 4 underage children, 1 6 years old, and I believe it was a sister or an aunt or a family member that was with them. They were in a salon parking lot, minding their own business, and the police somehow believed that these people were stealing a car when that turned out to be false. Remember that report from a year ago? This is what was going on. This is prior to the George Floyd situation. But all these events like this have led up to all the events that happened this past summer with the George Floyd situation and people getting out there in the streets and protesting and carrying on. This is what happened. You see, when we protest because of police brutality, because we're mistreated, because we've been killed, because we've been shot unarmed with a sandwich in our hands or a cell phone in our hands, or we're saying, hey, I can't breathe. You've got your knee on my neck, officer, or you're choking me out like what happened to Eric Garner in New York. All these events is why we get out there and we protest. We protest over things because we're being killed, we're being brutalized and mistreated by the law enforcement systems of this country, while other people protest and go up to the Capitol and cause resurrection over because they believe that they somehow got cheated out of the election, when all the courts in this land said that the election was not stolen. And when we go out and protest, we are mistreated in so many ways. Let me finish this, but once again, let's get through this part. It gives me no pleasure as it does you all. It gives all of you out there listening no pleasure to hear children, and these cops are standing here over them. And guess what? How long they were out here like this. And you're going to hear it in this video. They had these kids like this for about 30 some minutes or more. No, I think about an hour. In this video, I think one of the guys is going to say it was about up to an hour, 30 minutes to about an hour, if I'm not mistaken. children, because they thought they were stealing a car, which was their own family member's car. And the lady told them that it was her car. The Aurora police in Colorado is the same police that took the life of this young man. I'll put his picture up in just a moment when this video finishes to give you a reminder. And here we go again. Okay, everybody. I realize now that there was no sound, so I'm about to bring this back. I apologize that there was no sound. I've been talking all the time, and there was no sound. I want to apologize for that. So let me bring this back and start this over again. This video will start over again, and hopefully, okay, everybody. I realize now that there was no sound. So it was 2 hours. I was saying I thought it was maybe 30 minutes to an hour, but it was 2 hours that these kids, and I hope everybody, I want to apologize to everybody that you could not hear any sound. I did not have my mic board sound cut on. It's my fault there. I apologize for that. Won't happen again. But let's get back to this. For 2 hours, these kids were laid in this position. And I'm going to say to you again, as I pull this back again, it gives me no pleasure to hear these children screaming and emotional and feeling emotional. Now, originally, these kids were stopped because the police thought that they had stole a vehicle. I think a family member that was with them told them that it was her car and that they did not steal the car. And they put these kids on their stomach with their hands back as if they were common criminals. A 6-year-old child, all the kids were underage children, all 4 of them. And they had the nerve to ask, "Oh, how you doing?" And while the kids are down there on the ground for 2 hours now, we're okay. And this is a damn shame. So here we go. Okay, so you guys can't hear the video? What's going on? Let me see something. Are you saying you cannot hear? Ladies and gentlemen, let me know. You can't hear the video? No sound? Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? You don't hear the video. Okay, let's do this again. Let me see. Let me bring this back. I hate to bring this back because I know you don't want to hear the sounds of those kids. We're gonna do a test here, ladies and gentlemen. I just moved this back and I'm trying to figure out why you don't hear the sound. Let's try this again. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna have to just stop it and go right to the other information that I have. Hopefully this is going to work. So let me know if you can hear. I'm going to push this and see. Hopefully you can hear this. Let me know. Let me make sure that everything on my side of the board is working right. And let me see. Everything is working the way it's supposed to work. Okay. I'm checking some sound here. And let's go right here and see. And let me go. All right, let me stop it right there. Can you hear it? Okay, let me double check something else. It could be in HAPS. It could be in HAPS is the reason why I can't. Let me see if I can upload it in there. And let me see. Give me 1 minute, folks. While I'm trying to get it loaded, let me turn on a little music and see if I can load this up over in HAPS. Let me see. Hang on for 1 minute. I'm going to play a little bit of music and here we go. Okay, everybody, I'm loading it up through the other platform I'm using. And you should be able to hear it this time. Okay, everybody, thank you for being patient. I figured out why it wasn't working. Anytime I'm going into another system, I've got to place audio and video like this into that system, not the system that I'm working out of. So I have it loaded up properly. Let's do this again. I really don't like my videos to be janky like this, but we're doing this for this is a good cause. We need to be educated on this story and be reminded of this story and realize how this is all turning out, because the young lady is going to make the police pay. they are going to pay the price. And so with that said, let me put this video up here right now. Hopefully this time around, everybody out there listening to me being patient, I apologize for all the technical problems that I'm having, but I now understand when I'm using YouTube, using my broadcasting software and going into HAPS, I understand where I have to put certain elements like a video. I've got to go into the main thing that I'm broadcasting out of. So in this case, it's HAPS. So let me hit this button and let it play all the way through. And I want you all to give your honest opinion. I need you all to hear it. You were seeing some of it, but you need to hear the audio. I know people were saying that they don't want to hear the kids screaming, but you need to hear this because you need to see and hear exactly what was happening as a reminder. And here we go.
Colorado police under fire for taking a woman and 4 clearly unarmed children, the youngest just 6 years.
All right, here we go. Here we go now.
Colorado police under fire for taking a...
All right. And this should be it right here. Here we go. Boom.
Colorado police under fire for taking a woman and 4 clearly unarmed children, the youngest just 6 years old, and holding them in custody, often at gunpoint, forcing them to lie, cuffed face down, as you see here on the ground, scared and humiliated. This was in a salon parking lot for upwards of 2 hours.
There's kids. There's kids. They had guns on kids.
That is hard to watch, even for a few seconds. Imagine living through it. That went on, as I mentioned, for upwards of 2 hours. This is America. This happens all the time. Most of the time, I'll be honest with you, it's not even on the national news. Now tonight, what's new is the woman you saw there, her name is Brittany Gilliam, is now suing Aurora, Colorado. She alleges in court that entire spectacle was an invalid and illegal arrest. She alleges the police were breaking the law. She also notes in her new suit that it hurt and traumatized those innocent children. You heard their cries. She says they now struggle with basic activities like eating and sleeping, and they are in therapy for this. The police department, to be clear, is not even claiming they had an accurate reason for the arrest and conduct you see there by the officers. Instead, they do apologize, and they say they incorrectly thought that that vehicle was stolen. It wasn't. An explanation that many law enforcement experts say does not even justify the force and guns drawn that you saw. Now, here's what else is new tonight. You may have heard that elections have consequences. So do social movements sometimes. The protests over the May killing of George Floyd led Colorado to reform police rules in June, passing a new law that bans some aggressive tactics and also a type of automatic legal immunity for officers, which means they can, when warranted, be held personally responsible in court. This is one of the first cases based on that new law. And while everyone's entitled to their day in court, this is the first time citizens in that state have actually been entitled to take on police officers directly and personally for their own day in court. It's very important, and we have some special guests on this story. We are joined now by the attorney for Miss Gilliam and her family. His name is David Lane. We're also joined by Mark Claxton, who's a retired NYPD detective, director of political affairs for the Black Law Enforcement Alliance. Good evening to both of you. David, it's hard. I just want to start with the human part. It's hard to even watch a little bit of that. You're representing someone who lived through it. Walk us through first the reality, and then we could talk about the law.
Well, Brittany was seriously traumatized because her 4 closest relatives were screaming for her to help, and she was completely helpless. She was trying to show the police her registration and her license plate number matched the registration. The police wouldn't look at a piece of paper to determine that this is not a stolen car. These kids had been for weeks and months seeing on the news every night white police officers killing African Americans for no reason whatsoever. And these little kids get pulled out of a car at gunpoint. And how any cop believes there is any justification for pointing a gun at a 6-year-old child, it's beyond me. But these kids this is a life-changing event for these kids. And we are now taking this civil rights statute that the Colorado legislature passed in July. We're going into
I'm only organizing it to say, I want to get to that because I mentioned it.
Sure.
But it's very important, just in my role moderating, to make sure we're clear on what happened. So thank you for what the family's going through. Before we turn to the law, Mark, what we saw on tape there, what the available evidence shows, is this proper policing?
Not at all. And it's hard to reject the claim that the occupants of the car were traumatized and victimized. But, early on, even the police attempted to make the stop appear ordinary. I remember hearing their spokespersons indicate that they're trained to conduct a full-on felony stop for all suspected stolen vehicles. That's absolute nonsense. The reality is, all too often with Black people, it's important to put that in, the police confuse reasonable force options with a mandate to use force. Built into policing is a wide range of discretion. And if you doubt that, look at the extraordinary restraint that was shown by the police officers at the Capitol on the 6th. If ever it was reasonable to use an escalated amount of force, that was it. But with all the video that you've seen thus far, even police officers being actively assaulted or retreating, they didn't even unholster their weapons. So as far as a police perspective, this stop was absolutely, totally avoidable and unnecessary and obviously traumatizing. Traumatizing, just as you indicated, Ari, just to watch it and the vulnerability of these young ladies, especially on the heels of what occurred with that very police department with Elijah McClain.
Information is power. Information is power. Information is man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
So now see what we have here. This is Elijah McClain on the screen. He was the young man that the retired police detective was talking about. He was the young man, as I said in the beginning of the program, who was walking, minding his own business. He tried to tell the Aurora police in Colorado that he was an introvert, that he didn't like being touched. The brother was on his own type of, in his own little world, and they did not respect his person. And he asked them over and over again, please respect my person. Please respect my person. And then they thought that he was on drugs. They ended up administering drugs, shots on this young man. These police officers are not trained medical. They're not paramedics. They don't have medical degrees, and they are administering shots, needles in this young man's body. And then, of course, we know the rest. He ends up not making it. He dies. This is the same police department that did this to these children as well. Here is another picture of the video, a still picture of the video. And once again, let me apologize for the sound problems. I just figured out why I had the sound problems. So the next time I do a video and I'm using HAPS, I know that I need to put my uploads and videos into HAPS directly, so that this, because I'm broadcasting directly out of HAPS into YouTube. So It's a lesson learned. It's the same thing you do when you're using StreamYards as well. So it's a lesson learned for me again, but it's only going to make sure that the next time I go live again using this platform that I don't make those mistakes and then have the sound issues where you can't hear. I really apologize. I wonder if what I should do is edit this video if I can. I don't like janky type videos where everything is kind of, you know, not on point like it should be. But you know what I'm trying to say. But here's a still picture where he's got I think the older family member, the young lady who's suing them, on the ground. There's the 6-year-old child. This is a little girl. Why would you put a 6-year-old child on the ground like she's common, like she's a criminal? Why? I'm going to keep it 100% real. Black people, we are the ones that are always subject to this treatment when we are not even trying to engage the police, minding our own business, and then they engage us in false arrests, false identity, stereotyping. Racism plays a part in this, surely, because there's nobody else that gets treated like that. Now, I know we're in a politically correct world where everybody's using this term called people of color. All I know as a black man that we are the main people who are always subject to this happening to us consistently in this society. And then people wonder why black people have a chip on our shoulders when it comes to these sort of issues. Why? Because we're sick of it. We just want to pay our taxes, work, raise our families like anyone else. These kids should have never been treated like this. They were not criminals. They had no criminal record. And like she said, when she tried to tell them the deal, these police did not listen. But they're going to listen now, ladies and gentlemen, because they are getting sued under the new laws. And I believe someone just super chatted me, and that's the Roger Report. Super chatted me $10. What's going on, brother? Now you know what I got to do. I've got to get my super chat music cranked up, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Tell them run it up. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, just wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, just wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10, rub through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my own. Right. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me late. All right, brother. Put in my hours, send the invoice, and they pay me.
Thank you for the super chat.
Okay, brother, thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate that. Yes. All right. That's the Roger Report. Check him out, y'all. And thank you for the $10 super chat. I'm going to hit that button again.
Thank you for the super chat.
Let you know that I appreciate that. Appreciate you coming over and giving the information man some love. Let me look in the chat room and look at some of the people's opinions and thoughts. Let's see. Everybody likes that tune when I play that tune. Oh, let me name something. We got Northern Bell in the house. We've got Mahaki TV, Catherine and Friends is in the house. Fly Seas is in the house. Back to the basics. Hey, back to the basics. Thank you for sending me that message, letting me know that I was having some issue with the sound. And Tiffany Jackson, 12 Vales is in the house. Love that, sister. Good to see you here. We got Brittany Dunn, who always comes in the house and gives her brother some support. We got RY that's in the house. And we got Living Your Best Life, who came in the house and said, she said what's up to me earlier. So I want to appreciate her. And then we got Rooster Girl 11. And if I'm not saying the name right, I apologize, but I appreciate everybody being here. We got Miss Full of, and I'm thank you for being here, sister. Always. Thank you for being here, for coming in and supporting the show. We got Really TT in the house. And let me see. We got really a lot of great people in the house tonight. We've got Lisa and Wills in the house. Thank you for being here and checking out the program. I appreciate that. Let me go over, and I got to do double duty now because I got to check out what's also happening over in the HAPS. And everybody out there in HAPS, thank you for being over here tonight. I see you over there. We got about 43 people over in HAPS right now, and that's watching me with the folks over here in YouTube. And I don't know what I've got going on over in Periscope. I know I get some viewership over there too as well. So let me go over this right now. This is the important part of the show. Well, once again, let me tell you something. Like I was trying to say before, it gives me no pleasure to hear children 10, 6 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, whatever their age. It gives me no pleasure to hear them screaming, asking for help, calling out to their family members, and they can do absolutely nothing while they're laying on the ground with their backs, with their hands around their backs, as if they were common criminals. I didn't see any of those people out there at the Capitol who did all that damage out there. I didn't see them laying them down on the ground like that, like they laid those kids on the ground. Didn't see that. Now let me upload another video that I think folks need to see the difference in where this stuff comes from. Let me play this. Let me let you see something. And I know folks are going to be caught off guard by what I'm about to load up. Some of you have probably seen this video already, but I'm going to show it to you because it shows you the difference. This man was involved in the insurrection in the Capitol. It was a white man. He got stopped in the airport by the police, and they had to bring him down to the ground. And listen to what he just said, because he clearly believed that he should have not been treated this way, because he believed that the only people that get treated like that are black people, such as what you just witnessed on the video. And I know it took me a while to get the sound together and all those things, but you just witnessed, watched, and listened to how those kids were on the ground screaming and pleading for their own safety. But listen to this man when the cop stopped him. And I want you to listen very wisely. And here it goes.
You treat me like a black person, gonna get sprayed. You treat me like a black person, gonna get sprayed. You treat me like a black person, gonna get sprayed. You treat me like a black person, gonna get sprayed. You treat me like a black person, gonna get sprayed. You treat.
And as you see there, ladies and gentlemen, you saw it for yourself. He said, "You're treating me like a black person." This was a white man who was involved in the breach in the Capitol some weeks ago. They stopped him in the airport. He said, "What are you doing? I'm no criminal." And eventually they did have to bring him down to the ground. But I thought the fact that he said those words, "You're treating me like a black person," I thought that it was very revealing. It was very honest. It was a very honest statement that he said from his point of view, because usually, this is why I was honest. Usually because we are the ones that normally get treated like that. And to be honest, Got to be honest about this. There are a lot of white people in this country who are not really used to being treated like that by the police, being thrown down to the floor and being having their hands and their arms and their body. When we look at 10 o'clock news at night, we got to be honest, folks. When you look at news, we tend to be used to seeing black people in a position of being on the ground, being handcuffed. Let me tell you what happened to me in college with my brothers. We were at an event trying to break up a situation. The police came on the scene. We were the good Samaritans, and we ended up being the ones put on the ground with on our knees with our hands like this, with the flashing police lights. You know those flashing police lights that I'm talking about. Let me give you another example again of what I'm talking about. And here we go. I'm talking about that. You got the flashing lights all over you. You don't know what in the world is going on, but you just know that you got these flashing lights all over you. And you're saying to yourself, man, are we getting ready to go to jail? You're like this. You're saying, man, I don't want to go to jail. We didn't do nothing wrong, officer. Shut your mouth. Where you from? Give us your IDs. There go my ID there, right? They put your hand behind your back. Well, you just asked me to show you my ID, officer. I can't do one thing without using my hands. Put your hands, you know, that kind of stuff. A lot of times America is used to seeing people who look like me in that position. Let me tell you a psychological test that I experienced in college, and a lot of colleges have this test in psychology classes. So one time I was in a class, and the teacher or the professor, he had a slide. He had a screen up with a slide. He showed a picture of a young black male just running. Then he showed a picture of a young white male running. And he said to everybody in the classroom, tell me why you think the black kid is running, and tell me why you think the white kid is running. I kid you not. The majority of the people in the classroom felt that the picture of the black kid was because he was running from the law. He was running from the cops, or possibly he had stole something. So he was in a hurry. The picture of the white kid on the video, or on the screen, that is, everybody said that the white kid was running for the bus, that he was a good Samaritan. He was running to help somebody. It was an emergency, some fire or something while he was running. And so after everybody said that, and the teacher in the classroom or the instructor or the professor, he lifted the slides for each person. And in the end, it was the white kid who was running away from the law, that was doing something mischief. See, this is psychology and how a lot of us think, because we're culturally conditioned in America to see certain people a certain way based on cultural conditioning, what we are exposed to by television, stereotypes, and also by the way that we're not, and by the way that we're not even exposed to people to understand who they are, what they go through, because we get so much of our information from mass media and what we see in movies and television and rap music videos, where we assume this is what people are from what we see on out of pop culture. When he pulled back the video, the slider on the video, it was the black kid who was actually running because he was trying to help an old lady across the street who was struggling with her wheelchair getting across the street. So the perception in everybody's mind is that the black kid was up to something criminal. This is in a classroom, folks. College classroom. Whereas the perception of the white guy was that he was doing something heroic. And this test crossed racial lines. You even had black people in the class, all races of people that thought that the black guy was doing something negative or getting ready to do something. He was running away from trouble because he caused the trouble, and that the white guy was running to do something heroic when in fact he was the criminal. It cut across racial lines. Even black people were quick to say in the class, yeah, he's up to no good, because we are even culturally conditioned ourselves to believe that we are something that mass media and society wants to paint the picture of us being. Hear what I'm saying. And I got my man right now in the house telling me to preach, and that's Ted Hicks out of HAPS. Peace to you. He's a moderator in my chat room over in HAPS. And on HAPS, ladies and gentlemen, for any of you who want to come over and subscribe to me over there too, my name over there, is, you already know, is Information Man. You've been seeing the tags up on the top of the screen there. What's going on, Tag Hicks, brother? It's good to see you, Ted. And this brother has an incredible platform himself. He's a professional, has great discussions, and I was so happy to be on his show just this week. And I had put a sample of that in my Twitter to have great discussion on his program. So I really enjoy you being here again this night again, my brother. So let me go into the YouTube chat room as well and see what people are saying. I want to think, how many of you have heard of the example of the study that I'm talking about? It was a classroom kind of study, because the professor wanted to see what people perception is of other people. And after he did that, that's when he went into the lecture about how we're all culturally conditioned to believe stereotypes about all people, not just ourselves, but other people of other races. We all do it. That's why America has a lot of these problems that it has too, because nobody understands anybody. We all get our misunderstandings of people from 10 o'clock news or some other nonsense on television and movies. Let me see what people are saying in the chat room. Let me see. Never heard of the study before. What's going on, RY? O and L families in the house. So true. O and L family says so true. Thank you for coming through. Back to the bases in the house. Let me see. It's just good to see a lot of people here tonight. Really good people in the chat room. I just want to give you all beautiful respect. As a matter of fact, let me give a clap to everybody in all the platforms that are watching me right now. Let me give you all a much needed clap, because you make this whole thing go. And here we go.
Tell the truth.
Okay. So here we go. Here's the document here. This is what's going on in Colorado. Colorado right now is the only state so far in this union that has taken away qualified immunity from police, meaning, a lot of times police can do things to citizens and they can kind of get away with it because they have been protected by the laws in this country. I think the Supreme Court, along with your congressmen, are the only ones that can change this. Okay. And so in Colorado, it was the governor who signed into law Senate Bill 217 at a ceremony at the state capitol on Friday. This was way back in July, ladies and gentlemen, way back in July. Okay. Friday's signing of the Colorado Sweeping Police Accountability Bill passed in the wake of George Floyd's death into law, calling it a necessary and positive step towards healing the state pain and healing the public concern. Senate Bill 217 was introduced and passed in a matter of 2 weeks after being introduced in the days after George Floyd's, he was killed. He was choked on a knee by Chevins. And that's another thing too, folks. I was going to do a story on that on my second channel. That guy Chevins, come to find out, before he did what he did to George Floyd, He had choked out a 14-year-old black kid. The kid had some problems. The mother called the police. And when he got there, he choked the kid out, and the mother was telling him to stop it. That was already on his record. Why didn't he get neutralized prior to George Floyd? Why didn't he get handled? So it shows you that there was a culture in Minneapolis in their police department. There was a culture there. And that was a police department that has a black man as the police chief. See, it doesn't always matter if you got a black police chief or black mayor. We still will catch this bad treatment.
Tell the truth.
Doesn't matter. Sometimes black officers are just as bad, if not worse, because they got to follow the blue line. Okay, they got to follow that blue line. It's really a damn shame when you can't even trust your own people. It's enough to make your eyes bug out, you know? When you can't even trust your own people. So let me go further into this, everybody. Let me see right here. This is a long overdue moment in the nation, reflecting the poll said just before the signing of this measure at a ceremony in the Colorado Capitol. This is a meaningful reform to deal with the police. Check this out. Colorado is one of the first states to take legislative action in the wake of George Floyd's death and demonstration across the nation. Okay, here are now here we go, folks. Here are some of the most important parts of the legislation. The rules around using deadly force have been changed. Right now, Colorado law enforcement officers can use deadly force if they reasonably suspect that someone is a threat to themselves, other than others or the public. So if you're a threat to yourself, you're a threat to others, or a threat to the police officer, before they could use deadly force. But with the changing of this bill, Senate Bill 217, it changed the standards to require that all officers if they face intimate danger or a threat, they must be able to prove that that's what it is before they can use deadly force. And change lawmakers hope will remove some of the subjectiveness from the decisions that are made during this process. Right here. Under the new law, officers are also prohibited from using deadly physical force to try to apprehend you. So what happened to George Floyd under the Colorado law, David Shelvins would have been done for. Finito. He would have been finished automatically, because under Colorado's law, you can't use physical mistreatment to just apprehend someone. So you can't use deadly physical force to apprehend someone, shooting them, putting your knee in their neck, okay, or their person, okay? Okay, now check this out. A person who is suspended only of minor or non-violent offenses. So if a person has a non-violent offense, he hasn't done, that person, she or he hasn't done anything that's violent towards the officer whatsoever, the officer can't use physical force. Obsessive force is what they call it. You can't do it under Colorado's law. Law officers must identify themselves as such and give clear warning that deadly force may be used with sufficient time for the warning to be observed by the individual. The new law states that officers are exempt from the requirements if the warning would place themselves or others at risk of death or injury. Check this out. Law enforcement must collect and report data The Senate Bill 217 requires law enforcement agencies to collect and report to the state a vast amount of data to the police. That includes racial data on officers' encounters with the public, where the interaction took place and the circumstance took place, including the suspect crime that occurred that led up to the situation. The agencies will also have to report whenever one of the officers unholsters his gun, just to unholster it, unholsters their weapon or points it as a citizen, and whether or not they fired it. So the minute the officer took it right out of the holster, that's got to be reported under this new law. Use of force data must also be collected and sent to the state, including information on what led up to the encounter, the type of force, and the use, and any information on injuries to the suspect or others that result. This is under Colorado's law, Bill 217. An annual report must be released by the state starting in January 2023. They want a full overall report over these next coming years. Officers must intervene. Check this out. This is what all those officers should have done when Chauvin put his knee in George Floyd's neck. Under Colorado law, ladies and gentlemen, officers must intervene if another officer is acting inappropriately. So that means you can't stand up there and just watch them and just stand there like those cops did in Minneapolis with the George Floyd circumstance. You can't sit up there and watch them. You can't use that as an excuse anymore. You're going to be held accountable according to Colorado law. Okay? Use of force data must be collected and sent to states, including information on what led up to the encounter, types of force used, and any information, injury to suspect or officer that results. I read that part there already. Here's another one. Every law enforcement officer in Colorado must wear body cams. You know, in some states, they don't wear body cams. In some states, they wear body cams. In some situations, you got police that come on the scene, they turn their body cams off. They turn the sound off. In Colorado, they cannot do that under the new law, okay? The new law requires that police officers activate the cameras, either worn on their body or mounted on the dash of their patrol car. Their use is required at and during any interaction with the public, ladies and gentlemen. The cameras may be turned off in some circumstances, including when recording personal information that is not related to the case or during a long break in the incident. It does not, however, apply to officers working in jails who are about to perform a task. Check this out. I want to correct something. If you are a peace officer working in jail, it's going to be up to you in Colorado to adhere to this. It says this. It does apply to officers working in jail who are about to perform a task that requires a participant to use some type of force. So otherwise, you gotta have a camera on. I know in the prison system, whenever they go into a cell to do a cell extraction on a guy, they have to have a camera. They have to have every man or woman that goes in say their name, their rank, or their name, their badge number, and they have to get it on camera in case something goes wrong. Now you've got a record, and officers are going to be held accountable. If the inmates want to file some kind of a lawsuit. I know this for a fact because of the kind of work I do, that does go on. So in Colorado, they want to make sure that it also stands up when it comes to jails and those sort of things like that. Okay. Agencies have until July 1st, 2023 to implement the body cam changes. Now, I don't like that. They should implement body cam changes expeditiously, immediately. Why wait? Officers who fail to activate their cameras or tamper with their cameras, because you got police that have been doing that, ladies and gentlemen, and you know that. If they're tampering with the footage, they could face disciplinary action, and even criminal charges, civil charges can be levied on these officers for tampering with the camera, with the footage in the body cam. When there is a alleged police misconduct, video from the incident must be released. Now, you know, every time something happens to us in these police encounters, they always are so slow to release the cam footage, or it's been edited, or something fishy is going on, right? Well, according to Colorado law, as I was reading there, when there is a alleged police misconduct, video from the incident must be released to the publicly, unedited. I love this one because they edit it. They edit all the time. Remember the black woman in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen? There was a black woman in Chicago that was in her home, and the police got the wrong door. They got the wrong apartment building, and they broke into her house while she was unclothed. She was naked. She had no clothes on, and she was screaming effusively saying, "You've got the wrong house. What's going on?" And then you could see the police, you know, sort of casually or sort of trying to put something over her body. The woman was butt naked around them for a long time before they even had the reverence to put something over her. She was naked, and she told them for a long time, "You've got the wrong place." This woman was a social worker in Chicago, never had a criminal crime, and the police broke in there, bust her door, and had her exposed on camera, butt naked. And then when she filed her complaint in suit, they tried to mess around with the camera footage. And then you had Beetlejuice, the mayor of Chicago, Lightfoot, Fishfoot, whatever. I don't have a lot of respect for her. Lightfoot. More like Beetlejuice to me. She tried to deny this sister her due process. Thought that it was nothing for her to be concerned about. And then when that sister filed her suit, got the footage, and then when Lightfoot or Beetlejuice finally realized what had happened to this black woman, then all of a sudden she want to say, "Oh, that was a miscarriage of judgment. Oh, I made a mistake." After this woman was totally humiliated by the Chicago police. How many of y'all remember that in the chat room? If you remember it, put a 1 in the chat room, any chat room. I'm almost through this. I know people are in the chat room. I want to look at what you're saying, but let me get through this because I don't want to have you all on here it's already late enough around the country, but I'm going in on this one. So, misconduct video from incidents must be released publicly without editing within 45 days. The victims' relatives must be given notification that they have a right to see the video before it goes public. And this is true. There's been times when people have been mistreated by the police, the family want to see the video and the police won't release the video. There's times when you get a lawyer, your lawyer wants to get that video, and the police are shucking and jiving. This is the kind of stuff that goes on, folks. I'm just telling you just straight up like that is. It's enough to blow your mind like this brother is doing right here. His mind is blown like mine when you think about this stuff that has happened. A clause in this law in Colorado says that videos that raise privacy concerns, particularly those when it comes to sexual assault and things that have to do with children, then that's when they're going to sort of censor that situation. They don't want to put that out in the public because it's very sensitive without having the family sign off on something like that. Now, check this out as I get close to a conclusion here. Officers can be sued in their individually. You never had that happen before because of the qualified immunity that protects them. Under the law, officers may be sued in their individual cities where they would in their individual jurisdictions that they come from. Meaning they have liability now, ladies and gentlemen. For up to they can be sued in Colorado, which I think is pretty low, should be higher than this, but this is what the number is. They can be sued up to $25,000 worth of damages. I think that's very little. It needs to be raised higher than that. And remember, police departments have insurance policies. You hit them in the pocketbook always. Police reform proponents hope this will mean more accountability for officers who right now can be shielded by their departments in the police unions from financial compensation or financial liability if they act in an inappropriate manner or commit abuse while in the duty of their job.
Tell the truth.
Officers cannot use chokeholds any longer or knee chokes like you saw in the case of George Floyd in Colorado. Senate Bill 217 bars the use of chokeholds in which pressure is applied to someone's neck in order to force them to comply. In the case of George Floyd. Law enforcement is limited when responding to demonstrations. Remember, in demonstrations, when people are demonstrating, I'm talking about people who are demonstrating peacefully. If you're demonstrating peacefully, law enforcement has no business putting pepper spray on you and all that crap that was going on this past summer. Says here, law enforcement is limited when it responds to demonstrators. The law prohibits officers from using tear gas on protesters without warning and from firing less lethal projectiles indiscriminately at demonstrators' heads, at your head, your pelvis, and your back. Okay? They can't do that any longer in Colorado. Prosecutors and grand jurors must release more information. The new law specifies that if a district attorney officer refers an incident, now check this out. This is an answer to Louisville, Kentucky, when Daniel Cameron, he failed, another black man. We got black folks that are not doing us right either. Another black man who is the district attorney. He was the district attorney in Louisville, Kentucky, who did not give the grand jury enough information to go on to give a real decision in the case of Breonna Taylor. That's why those police officers got off without being charged for her death. Simply, they got fired from the police department, but they did not get charged in their misconduct and shooting in that home like they did on false information. It was Daniel Cameron, the buck dancer himself, who did not give the grand jury proper information. That's why you had about 2, maybe 3 of those grand jury members who came out publicly, which for the first time ever, we don't normally know who the grand jury members are, and said, we felt that Daniel Cameron, the district attorney, did not give us enough information to make an educated decision in this crucial situation. The family got $12 million, which they should have, But it says here, new law specifies that if a district attorney officer refers an incident or a deadly police use of force or misconduct to a grand jury, the DA office, which is what they should have did in Louisville, Kentucky, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell the truth.
The DA office must release statements notifying the public that the matter is under investigation. Also, even when a grand jury decides not to indict the officers under the investigation, the panel is required to issue reports. You hear what I'm saying, folks? Do you really hear what I'm saying?
Information is power.
Let me go into the chat rooms here, see what folks are saying. That is pretty much the end of my presentation in terms of the information I wanted to share with you all out there. We got Marlo's music channel in the house. We got my man, the real Aaron Collins. We got a view for a view. And we got my sister, Miss Full Roller. Miss Full Roller is in the house, if I'm saying that correct. Good to see you here, my sister. Good to see you here. I'm going to do something for you because I really appreciate you and appreciate what you are about, Miss Full Roller, if I'm saying that correct. We got Kujin87 who's come in the house. I appreciate you as always, brother. We got Northern Bell in the house. Let me go over and take a look at the good folks in the haps and see what they are up to. Let's see what's happening. We got my man Tad Hicks, who says when payouts happen, it should not be from public tax dollars. No, I agree with that. But Tad, let me ask you a question. And this goes for everybody listening. How much of our tax dollars go to the police departments? A lot of it does, my brother. You're right. We as taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for the BS that the police engage in when they engage in BS. That's why, like I said before, if I'm not mistaken, most police departments have to have an insurance policy. Remember Johnny Cochran when he was doing his thing in Los Angeles? One of the things that made him very effective is that he would make the police departments pay by making them do training retrain the officers, which, to be honest, that didn't work because the LAPD still has a lot of problems. But not only did he do that, he sued them and he hurt their insurance policies, which makes their insurance policies go up. There have been police departments. I think there was one I know of, and the name of it kind of skips my mind right now, but there have been police departments that have gone defunct because they were sued so many times. For example, the guy that shot Michael Brown, the police officer who shot Michael Brown's hands up, don't shoot. Come to find out, he originally came from a police department, and somebody put his name in the chat room. Who was the police officer again who took the life of Michael Brown? And this is a police officer, because his name skips my mind right now. This is an officer who left another police department just across town from Ferguson that went defunct because they were doing all types of shady things in that police department. Let me know if anybody can put that in the chat room as a reminder. Who was that? Who was that officer? If you can even call him an officer that did that. Let me see. We got Northern Bell says exactly. The victims' families need to put lenses on their insurance, right? Then they also can get hired elsewhere. Yeah, because some of these officers, when they do things and violate people's Daniel, that's right. Darren Wilson. Thank you, Miss Full Roller. That's right. It was Darren Wilson. Darren Wilson originally arrived from a police department that was defunct in the Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri area, right? And he got into the police department right over there in Ferguson. And just think about this. Had he been decertified, that's what you have to do. When you have police officers that are reckless like this, you have to decertify them so that they cannot go into another police department and get another job in another police department in another state. You can't allow that to happen. That to me is reckless if that happens. I want to say peace to all 66 people that are watching me over in HAPS right now. 66 of you. Thank you for supporting the show. I got my man. Let me read a couple of things. Ted Hicks says that Colorado had to end qualified immunity due to Elijah McClain. Thank you. Because of his death. Right. They had no business shooting him with needles. Then Ted Hicks says that that templates for the Colorado law should be replicated across the country in all 50 states. I agree with him. I agree with that. And Ted Hicks is a moderator in my HAPS chat right now. I've got 66 people over in HAPS listening to me right now. Thank you for supporting the show. And for those of you listening in HAPS, do me another favor. All you got to do is go to YouTube, put in the Information Man Show, and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Okay? I appreciate you all watching me and giving me support this late night, this late morning across the country. I'm about to come to a conclusion. Let's go back into the YouTube chat. And let me say peace to everybody who may be listening to me over in Periscope and folks that are listening to me maybe on Facebook right now and Twitter. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, participating, all those good things. Let's go over here to the chat room on YouTube. We've got the ghost of J Speed OG coming in the house. That's my main man. That's my brother. Got to get him back on the show before he makes his journey to the continent, the beautiful continent of Africa. I got to definitely have to talk to that brother again. And now we've got Natural in the, this is the people that are in my live chat over in YouTube. We've got Natural who's coming to the house saying, hey, Information Man. And then we have Ghost. Yeah, I just went live tonight. Normally before I go live, I send out a lot of notifications. YouTube sends out notifications, and then I send out my own personal notifications to all the social media to get more people over. And tonight I didn't do that. And if I probably would have done that, there probably would have been more people coming into the YouTube chat tonight, or at least watch. I didn't do that because I was short on time. I usually like to promote. You all know how I do it. I promote before I go live. And another thing too, I made this announcement on my podcast. I'm gonna be. I got a brother Jay King. Jay King's on. He's on Periscope. He's got a new album that he's been working. Jay King was one of the main members of Club Nouveau, and he's been working on a powerful album, Bossa Nova Soul. I'm going to be bringing him on my program to interview him about the music business and about his album. He's looking for, he's putting this album together. People are supporting the album. They're giving donations because he's doing it from the ground up. He's a producer. Club Nouveau still does performances around the country, around the world. And I made contact with the brother. He knows who I am. I know who he is. And eventually he will be brought to the Information Man Show. And I'm going to really pick that brother's brain about the music business, because there's more business than there is music in the music business. So peace to him if he does watch this on Periscope, because I always go to his Periscope show and I kick it over there with him and talk to him on his Periscope show. He also has a independent radio station in the Sacramento area. I think it's an internet radio station that he runs and operates. Brother's got a lot of fantastic things going on. Just want to give you guys that information there. Marlo's music channel. I know you're into music, so you're probably going to enjoy that interview by Jay when I get Jay King on, brother from Club Nouveau. Now we've got Cap PY2, who says he appreciates the information that I put out today. Thank you, brother. I'm glad to see you over here, Cap. Cap, I'd like to see you over here a lot more, brother. I really miss your presence in the chat room and on the panels that I've done in the past. So thank you. And because you super chatted me, now I got to go with the super chat music, and let's turn up, ladies and gentlemen.
Time to run it up. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. 9 out of 10, rub through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'll make me great. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, I'm down that check. No drip, this.
Thank you for the super chat.
No sleep, no
You
rest.
are
Might
listening
crash,
to
might
Information
wreck,
Man.
but
Please
first
make
I
sure to
stretch.
subscribe to his show.
I wake up,
Okay, everybody.
flex, I'm down that check. No drip, this. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck.
Hey, I want to thank you, Brother Cap. Once again, I'm so glad to see you here. It's getting a little cold in my room right now. Woo! Getting a little cold in here. But it's so good to see you, Cap, coming in the chat room. It's so good to see everybody out there watching the program. It's getting kind of cold in my room here. And I really appreciate everybody listening to the program and rocking with me. I want to thank everybody over in HAPS for rocking with me. I want to appreciate the folks over there. I think Peter, he's out of Seattle. He and his partner have created a fantastic platform over there that I'm a part of. Looks like I'm going to be developing an audience over there. I appreciate my audience over here on YouTube always, because this is the bread and butter over here. You know, folks over here have been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you share out my video. You know, I'm a little embarrassed tonight because I had some technical problems and I don't like it. I don't like the fact that there was no sound for a while. I don't like the fact that there was a few things that were going a little haywire for me tonight. I really don't like that, because I like people to watch my videos and listen and watch a clean product, a product that's, you know, professionally done. And so, you know, I don't know if I should go into YouTube or maybe do some edits. The problem with YouTube and the edits in YouTube is that once you edit something, it takes forever for the edits to catch up so that the video goes back into a nice package. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave things the way they are. Hopefully people, when they listen to this video, they'll just move the dial up and realize that, hey, maybe he's got his sound working better. I don't know. Let me see what people are saying in the chat room right now. We've got, Patience. So great to see you, sister. And all. I love those hearts that you put in there. The Ghost, what's going on with you, brother? You got a new channel now? Yeah, brother, if you got a new channel, drop that in there. And everybody in there, if you are a content creator, go ahead and subscribe to each other. It's not going to hurt you. So it's not going to hurt you at all to do your thing like that. So let me see. The brother just let me see the channel. Okay, support. Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, support the channel. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel. Oh, and I need everybody to do me another favor, and you can find it on my page of my YouTube channel. I need you to go to my page, Information Man Show, scroll down, and you'll see another channel called Information Man Speaks Podcast. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel. This is the benefit that you get from that channel. The benefit is that on that channel, I'm going live on that channel every other night, if not every night. And the nights that I don't, and sometimes when I don't go live, I'm uploading pre-produced videos. So between pre-produced videos and going live, I'm cranking them out over there, and I'm touching on a lot of different subjects over there. So be on the lookout for some new fresh material coming your way tomorrow on the second channel. Definitely. We got the Super Bowl. Let's just do a survey right now. For those of you that are sports fans, who you got tomorrow in the Super Bowl? Do you got the Patriots? I was going to say the Patriots. Tom Brady's with the damn Buccaneers. Do you have the Buccaneers, or do you got Kansas City? I'm going with Kansas City. I'm sick and tired of Tom Brady winning all the time. I'm going with Kansas City. What do you all say in the chat room? Both in YouTube and Haps and Periscope and Twitter and everywhere in the world. What do you say? Let me see here. Okay, we got about 75 people in Haps watching us right now. We 75 strong over in Haps. And we're about, let me see, how strong are we in YouTube right now? We're about 31 strong over tonight. And I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of people when I'm going on this late on YouTube, because a lot of folks are probably sleeping right now, getting ready for the Super Bowl tomorrow. But I got 31 in here on YouTube. It's a slow night on YouTube, but I got great people in the chat room, and I got a good 75 folks checking me out over on the Haps. This is fantastic. Fantastic platforms that we're using tonight. So let me see. Okay, so let me see. TV, let me see. Muhammad, I can't make out that name. She's going with Kansas. Let me just say peace to you by highlighting your name. When I can't make out your name, I highlight your name and I say peace to you. Let me see, peace. And wait a minute, hang on, folks. I'm doing something real quick here. Bam. Okay, Ghost says, no, that's your channel. I put a description. I want them to. So thank you, Ghost. Thank you, brother. And once again, got to get you back on the channel again, brother, before you take your relief and your stress-free life to Africa, the continent of Africa, brother. What just to ask you, Ghost, real quick, which place in Africa are you planning to move to? Is it going to be Ghana? Is it going to be Nigeria? Is it going to be South Africa, Uganda? Tell us, brother, where are you going? Or where is the Ghost going? And we got Back to the Basics, who says she's going with Kansas as well. Everybody seems to be rocking with Kansas. Let me see. The real Aaron Collins says, what's up to Cap? And we've got Gills in the house. Marlo's Music Channel is in the house. This is fantastic. This has been a great program. I'm working out the bugs as I go along, folks. I had a few bugs tonight, but if you stroll through the video, you will see that I'm putting out the content as best I can. I really appreciate everyone who's watching. I appreciate you. And I will be back with more presentation. Once again, don't sleep on the second channel. On the second channel, I'm giving you more content. I'm giving you more gritty content. And I hope that you enjoy some of the content that I'm giving you on the second channel, on my YouTube, second YouTube channel, which is the Information Man Speaks podcast. Make sure you check me out on SoundCloud, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcast, TuneIn, Radio.com, Radio Republic. I did drop a fresh radio style podcast yesterday with Brandy J on Haps. We were on live on Haps, and we were live on Facebook, and we got into the issue about kids going back to school. So make sure you check that out. And everybody that's listening, as soon as you can, listen to that. It's we talked about some very interesting things in that podcast that I think you might find very, very interesting. So let me see what other people got this. Let me see what everyone's saying. Let's see. Real Aaron Collins says salute to Brother Ghost. And let me see. What do we got? 32 watching here. All right. I got to call it quits then. I got to call it an end of the show tonight. As much as I hate to go, ladies and gentlemen, I've got to go. So with that said, let's get ready to get on out of here. Peace to everybody in YouTube. Peace to everybody out there in HAPS. And peace to everybody in Facebook and Twitter and Periscope. I appreciate everybody out there who was rocking with me tonight. I'll be back on again very soon for more presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Information Man Show.
Is power. Information
Tell the truth.
is power.
Information is power, ladies and gentlemen. And let's get at it. Let's get at it. Indeed, let's pick a nice tune to let's see this. Let's see if this sounds good for everybody. Oh yeah, this is the one I like. Yes. Yes.
Issues, I know I got issues. Hate you, then I miss you again.
Yeah.
Selfish, I can be so selfish. Spend more time when meeting your friends. Please forgive my attitude. I want my cake and eat it too. But a little grace would be enough for me to prove.
Peace, everybody. Good night.
Baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I can finally see. Bringing out the best in me, yeah. I don't want no problems, but I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it. Working out my issues with you, with you. Crutches, I be holding crutches. Can't let go of any mistakes. Distant, sometimes I get distant. Stay away as long as it takes. Forgive my attitude. I need my cake and eat it too. But a little time will be enough for me to prove. Baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I can finally see. Bringing out the best in me, yeah. I don't want no problems, but I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it. Working out my issues with you, with you. My highs and my lows is part of being human. Can you weather the storm? I'm starting to believe you can. Cause baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I can finally see. Bringing out the best in me, yeah. I don't want these problems, I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it. Working out my issues with you, with you.
Information is power. Information is power. Information is power.
Take me in your arms, do just what you want. You're the one I trust. I belong to you, and I'll always be around when I need some loving, baby. And I'll never let you down, let you down. I'm your song, and you're playing all my melodies. There's no one else, 'cause baby, we got chemistry. You give me feelings that I never knew. This heart of mine will always and forever belong to you. You and me were meant to be as one. The universe has known it all along. Maybe this is where our story starts. Maybe it was written in the stars, written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me, written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me. Take me to your heart, take me to your soul, never drawn apart, 'cause I belong to you. Be my guiding star, 'cause I need your loving, baby, and never let me down, let me down. I'm your song, and you're playing all my melodies. There's no one else, 'cause baby, we got chemistry. You gave me feelings that I never knew. This heart of mine will always and forever belong to you. You and me were meant to be as one. The universe has known it all along. Maybe this is where our story starts. Maybe it was written in the stars, written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me, written in the stars. You, me, forever, yeah. You, me, written in the stars.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Good night, everybody. To you, thank you for your support as always. I appreciate everybody and all the platforms that have come out strong tonight. Let me give a special thanks to Back to the Basics. She was the one that alerted me that there was something wrong with the sound before, but everybody in there was alerting me. Let me give a shout out to all the mods in the chat room that were doing a great job tonight. Everybody get some rest. I know it's early in the morning for some of you that live in the East Coast, maybe the Midwest. I'm in the West Coast, so it's only like 10:30 here for me. I'm still going to be up for a while after this stream is over, relaxing and chilling. And y'all just enjoy yourselves. And I'm gonna be back with more presentation. I'll probably be doing some more work over here on HAPS tomorrow evening. Who knows? But looks like I'm going to be developing just a good a base of people supporting the channel on all different platforms. And that's exactly what I envision, that it's important to make a presence in all different platforms, because some people like some platforms. Some people like Facebook better than YouTube. Some people like YouTube better than Facebook. And then some people like a sensational platform like HAPS as well. So I appreciate everybody. Make sure you do me the greatest favor. Share the video in all your social media, your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram, your community tab. If you are a YouTuber, go ahead and share it. I'm going to do my best to share this tonight, because I usually, when I go live, I share it out everywhere, and then that helps to bring more people over. But what I'll be doing is sharing it out after I get off of here. And this, I think, was an important stream that I did, despite some of the technical problems I had tonight. Some of it was my fault. A lot of it was my fault because there was a few things that I did wrong that I normally should have known better. But you know, you learn from your mistakes and you go forward, everybody. So peace and love to you out there. Peace and love. I just have to be honest with you out there.
Such a pretty girl. Left town, got a chance in LA. Now you a city girl. Now you wanna party, it's late. You stay over, never over. One more drinking till you're sober. You stay over, never over. One more drinking till you're sober. You said that I won. You had me lost.
Tell the truth.